I got some feedback for the planetary healing that I had done, and her name is Jerry. She listens to many of the archives, if not all of them, and she said, I want to let you know that I get something or everything out of your healings every time. Now, that's exciting. Whew, I'm happy for that. She said, this really became evident when I listened to the show you had done recently on the droughts and healing the planet. At first, I thought this may be a show that I would get benefit from in a smaller way, but it turned out that I connected to this issue internally as my physical body was manifesting symptoms of dehydration, not to mention I was challenged with pollen allergy issues that had never really surfaced before. So she says, anyway, I truly feel as though this broadcast spoke directly to me, and I was able to receive a healing that mentally and physically sent me on my way to recovery. Now, I wanted to read that to you guys because, and she brought it to my attention, when we heal the planet, you can also heal your physical body. The planet has a soul and it has a body. The body is the planet, and as we are healing the soul and the body, you can also be healing yourself. So thank you, Jerry, for bringing this to my attention. I am so appreciative. You have no idea. And I encourage everyone to, even though I'm not healing a person, I'm still healing a soul. And Jerry, for her, it played out through her own physical body, and she was able to do this big thing on it, yippee-i-o, processing and moving into recovery. This is exciting. So I do want to encourage, and please send me feedback. If you experience anything, you may not, please send me feedback because, I'm in a new arena. I know there are many out there that deal with healing the planet in different ways. I don't know how anybody else does it, but I know that it's out there and pretty prevalent. I thought to do, as I said, pollution, because we certainly all know about pollution. And I'm not sure where the higher selves are going to take me. So what I want to do is, instead of discussing it, we're just going to go in and start to work on it. Just now, this time it's specifically, we're going to work on pollution. So I want everyone to, again, get ready, set their focus of attention, focus on my voice, focus on the now and the forever now moment, focus on the light that we carry, this beautiful, powerful, true soul essence light, pure soul essence light. See it, experience it, move it to fill the totality, the forever now moment. And also, again, we want to just reactivate the movement into the womb, symbolic womb of originating source. Okay, so now we're using the hub because Suzanne's moved back onto the rim. We're going to use the hub as to place the symbolic planet on. Oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm immediately getting, now of course it's small because I have to reduce the symbol, so it's a small symbol on the hub. Not as small as a globe, but maybe like a big dome or something, but it's certainly round like the planet. So we have the symbol of the planet. I immediately get all these dark spots all over the planet. It's just, the planet is the beautiful planet we have, but it's just littered, or parts of the planet just have these dark blobs, and they're big, dark blobs, and it's not all oil spills because it's just symbols, so it would be all the types of pollution. I'm getting acid rain pollution, okay? I mean, who knew? I would never have thought of that. I'm getting the oil spills. I'm getting the trash. I'm getting the, oh gosh. I'm getting astral energy. Now, without going into explaining astral energy, I would like to just start the healing and see what the higher self feed me when we begin to clean these things. And they want me to begin right off the bat by, first they want me to activate the rainbow bridge for the planet itself, because it too, being a soul, it has chakras. How exactly they work, I don't know. And it doesn't matter. we're activating them. So we're bringing the chakras with the rainbow bridge energy. We're bringing the chakras up to the highest level of efficiency that they can be on the planet. And I have to say, they're pretty clogged. I don't normally see this when I'm working with the humans that I work with, but this planet has been here for a long time. I guess 4 billion years or something. I mean, it's been here for a long time, and it's got, the chakras are definitely clogged. So I want to activate it with this rainbow bridge energy, and I want simply, oh, you know what, I forgot. Boop, 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 boop. I forgot to consciously, I'm sure it happened already, but I want to consciously activate the pure soul essence of the planet itself. And with that definitely helped, because with consciousness comes power, and it's just, the light is just so intense and beautiful, and it too is moving into this forever now moment. So that light is very intense, and so as we continue to do the exercises, or the techniques or the healing on the planet, that what it's being released is going to be released right into that light, that divine light that the planet itself carries. Oh, now this is interesting too. I am seeing higher selves lining up around the outside the planet, but lining up around the whole globe. It's as if they're there to help with the clearing, to guide the energies, whatever we use, so that I won't make a mistake. I may not get it right exactly, or I may do something wrong, but they're making sure it's all going to be moved and utilized in the highest ideal. So again, we're all amalgamated with a conglomerate higher self, and now this includes these additional fifth dimensionals that are playing, that are actively helping us to provide even more energy for the planet itself. So this is really great, and to direct the energy. So, okay. Now, I want to begin simply by having to start to release from all these black patches that I see symbolically around the planet. And I want all of you to release any black patches you may have for yourself. I don't know yet what they are. But right now, we know enough. I got a little bit. I know that there is about oil spills. It's about acid rain. It's about the release of, factory waste and drilling for oil or gas or coal or anything. There's waste products as atomic energy creates waste products. Everything that we are creating has these pollutants, and this is where we're starting. We're starting to release, and all of what we're releasing around the planet is going to be moving into the light. Now, we're not physically mopping up the oil spill, okay? What we're doing is we're releasing the energetics that brought the spill in, that keep creating oil spills. We're releasing the energetics, just like we do on our physical, when we're working on ourselves, we're releasing the patterns that have created the neon sign that draw in the situations and conditions that continue to make us unhappy, that hurt us, whatever. So we're releasing the energetics. Now, I do feel some of okay, I'm jumping all around because I'm getting a ton of stuff. So, okay. So what we're doing is we're releasing stuff from all of these black spots, and they're already changing, and I see gray now. They're not presenting as black, they're presenting as gray. So it means that already we are utilizing the release system for the planet in a very positive manner. And not only will it help bring in other things that will continue to neutralize, that will continue to pollute, but it will allow room for the solutions. So maybe there'll be more volunteers when we have an oil spill, better products that can dissolve the oil so it can, it won't hurt the wildlife as much. This is what happens, is that as we remove the energetics, it allows more and more healing of the planet. Now, some of the things will actually be healed, but right now it's actual physical pollution. And the next thing I saw was and I said that the factories letting all the byproducts for a lot of what we do, the smog that comes so often from either factories, but a lot from cars. So we want to release all of that smog kind of thing and all of the causes. I'm calling in like a divine cleanser of some sort. I'm not sure what divine energies would be coming in, but different types of pollution will require different types of divine energies. So instead of being specific, we can just call in divine dissolvent, and we're going to start to dissolve. It's just really neutralizing more and more and more of the pollution, the energetic pollution that is creating the actual pollution on the planet, that is calling it in and makes it happen. Okay, there's another thing, and I mentioned it in the other healing I did on the planet last time. There has been a tremendous amount of death and dying on the planet. Because it's a planet that houses human form, houses life forms, the planet has experienced many, many deaths. And the very first healing I did, there was a situation over the Indian Ocean, and what I got that was behind it was the slave trade, and part of it was the throwing of bodies into the water, bodies that were dead. They didn't need them anymore. There was no respect for those human beings. There was no respect. And so that's the kind of thing I'm getting now, that part of this is that a lot of death and dying, and so there's been pollution literally from those beings that have laid aside the body. Now this is something new. You guys aren't going to necessarily understand this right off the bat. But the particles that are part of each and every body can also, when we lay aside the body, those particles get recycled. They go back into the ground in some way. It may take, if they're in a casket or something, it may take decades or centuries or millennium, but eventually everything gets recycled back into the planet, and eventually it then, the bodies I'm talking about, eventually then they get reused. But these particles actually can take on their own pollution, and the higher selves call it karmic particles. There's very few completely pure particles left on the planet. That's because of the nature of the life form. So what we're going to be doing now, and what's part of this process, is we're actually going to start to clear the karmic particles of their patterns, because they take on trauma. If they have a death that's difficult or whatever, they take on at the energetic level, their trauma. So all the particles that are used within the physical bodies of plants, animals, humans, minerals, everything can take on their own pollution. And there's so much information to give you on this, but I don't want to. We don't have much time, and I want to just get going. But I want you to understand that we can actually cleanse and clear the energetic field from the particles, and that's where the higher self was taking me. And that's what I was like, oh my goodness. So, all right, so that's what we're going to send the light in symbolically to every single particle that is part of these pollution sections in the planet, because all of those particles are carrying their own energetics. And I want to, before I do that, in fact, we're doing it anyway, but I also want to activate the rainbow bridge for all of the particles, so that all of the chakra systems that are in play from these particles are also moved to the very highest level. Wow. I also want to activate the connection to the particle's pure soul essence, so that I want the pure soul essence of all the particles to also become part of the amalgamation, to become part of this healing. So we're getting down to particle, actually, some very, foundational kind of things here. And so that was beautiful. The light just got brighter. If it could possibly get brighter, it got brighter. And so it's also, it's actively involving the particles in their own cleansing. They're using their own light. Now, they don't consciously it's not a conscious process. It's an instinctive process that is led by their own pure soul essence. It comes from the divine, but I'm seeing it activated now. And it's clearing a lot of this karma, so to speak, that these particles have taken on. So I'm just watching this incredible cleansing process. It's not only sticking right with the specific black, now gray, and moving to lighter gray splotches on the planet. It is moving throughout the entire planet, because there's some other areas, of course, that would carry the karmic particles, but they're not so dense. The problem isn't so dense with the pollution that it's part of the actual spots that we're working on. But this is really helping, because there's been so much death, so much laying aside of the body, and therefore so much quote-unquote karma that the particles have taken on. And that affects the planet itself. It affects our bodies too. When we are going through the process of gestation, the soul itself picks the particles it's going to use to build the body. And the soul has to take what's provided. And because there's so many particles that are no longer pure, we can come in with elements of problems at the physical level. Some manifest right away, some may not manifest till we're middle-aged or teens or old. I mean, it doesn't matter, but there's a karmic particle kind of situation with the physical body. So we're actually, each and every one of you are helping your own physical body neutralize all, what's ever carried at that karmic level. I use that term simply because it's so hard to describe it. It's just a handle, and it's the term that the higher self used as well when we first learned about it. But this is also going to help you clean and cleanse the totality of your physical body. And it also works, of course, we're going to now address the etheric part of this puzzle of what we can clean and cleanse for the etheric body of the planet, so that we can shift its fuel for what it's going to bring in, the situations and conditions. And so I want to just begin with having the planet release all the death and dying on the planet. We did that last time, but I want to just start there. All the energetics, because I don't know how to explain the energetics so well, because it's the planet, and I don't want to anthropomorphize too much, but there's energetics here. There's emotions, there's hurt, there's wounds, there's lack, there's doubt, there's distrust, there's confusion, there's all these things that we think that we have, but it's carrying it. Now, the planet also is carrying it. So I want all of that to be released. There's also anger here. There's anger because it does feel like there's been some abuse of the planet. And so I want that anger and that frustration to be let go, because that's no good. There's bitterness here. There's bitterness here. It doesn't want, it's very bitter. It just is it's hurting. So there is pain here. There's hurt and pain and despair. It has some pristine areas. there are some beautiful, beautiful areas that don't seem to have been massively touched by pollution. And the planet is kind of pulsing and showing me that there are some very beautiful places here, along with the places that carry this dark, polluted kind of look. And so I want to send, I'm not sure why the planet showed me that. I think it was a sense of pride. There's a sense of joy and pride about these pristine places that we have on the planet. That's the thing that keeps it going. That's the part of the planet's existence that fulfills it, that makes it feel good and about its destiny pattern and its job. But it's just got these sort of open wounds. It's kind of how I feel about the pollution. It's kind of like an open wound. And it's some of them are really festering. So I want to go in, really, higher self, we need to, please help me here, because I want some of this festering kind of thing going and all the causes, known and unknown. And I want all the pain and the suffering that's part of it. It's pain and suffering for the planet and for those humans on the planet that happen to be in this kind of pollution. The humans and the animals and the plants. It's a lot of pain here. It's a deep, deep soul pain. And I want everyone to begin to think about releasing it for themselves, and also to focus on and encourage and support the release of the planet of all of its pain. And I feel like the higher selves are using a process on their own, a cleansing process. I can't pretend to know exactly, but I see it happening very quickly, and they're like moving around these polluted areas and sort of scooping. It's almost kind of a scooping out, but they're huge. The areas are huge, so it's a gigantic scoop, and it's scooping out, running through the energy through some sort of light filter, divine light filter that cleanses it, then going back and scooping out more and running it through the divine light filter. And it's just happening really fast all over the planet. It's just that these things are very deep. They're very deep. They go right down into, toward the center of the planet. I don't know that they get to the core, but they're very deep because of the eons and billions of years that the planet has existed. I'm seeing some very, very deep pain and suffering and despair coming out. Wow. There's also despair, not just for itself, but there's despair for the souls on it. It carries a great deal of sadness for the difficulties, the cruelty, the suffering that the souls upon it have experienced. And that's a huge part of the despair. And there is also, this is interesting, I really feel like we're talking about a person because it comes up in these anthropomorphic ways. But it also feels powerless, like it can't do anything or can't do enough to help the life forms on its planet, on it. It feels like it can't do enough. And so there is a frustration, there is a regret, there is a feelings of I shoulda, woulda, coulda. There's blame here, self-blame, that it's doing something, it's not doing enough, or it's doing something wrong, because why else would all this pollution be there? And so it's just letting go of all that regret, and I'm calling in divine forgiveness of the self, all the criticism. I want to let go of that. And that was a pretty important element, because I saw the spots. I see them as kind of like funnels. So on the top, you've got this really dark, blackish, big glob, and then it funnels down into the planet. So when I said that, to release the despair and the belief that it hadn't done enough, that somehow it was its fault, okay? It's just giant misunderstanding. When I said that, the funnels all got smaller. They're continuing to lighten, but now the spots aren't so large on the planet. They're continuing to lighten and they're getting smaller because that self-blame will just keep aggravating and reinforcing and re-empowering the pollution pattern. So all of you, if you're working on your own physical body too, I want you to release all of that you would be carrying because it's very, very important. We want to let go of that self-blame because by being stuck there, we're re-empowering, reinforcing the pattern, whatever it is we're working on. In this case, with the Earth, it's the pollution pattern. So we want to release all of that, and that's definitely helping. Oh my gosh, I feel this huge shift. The little funnel things that really weren't so little are now getting really much, much smaller. And they're almost white. They're still, I can see action going on, like a spinning action, cleansing, cleansing, cleansing. Okay, wait a minute. I'm just processing it. It's new to me, so I don't want to miss anything. The higher selves are definitely helping. I feel like they're activating and bringing in a tremendous amount of healing and balancing energy. And it's just moving in, through, and around the planet and all of its etheric bodies. It's moving in, through, and around to bring healing and balancing. And I want to and also say there's evolutionary enlightenment here. And there's divine serenity and divine love and divine forgiveness. Now, these are all important energies to help bring in the total healing on the planet. And the next image I'm seeing, which is very interesting, is that I'm seeing a lot of people moving outward in their life pattern to help with the pollution factor. And it's coming from all different directions. There's scientists here. There are volunteers here. There's organizations here, some of whom have already been helping with the pollution, some of whom have already been very invested for a long time in understanding the ecology and how pollution affects us. But there's more here. I see people from like big companies, big business, getting involved and paying attention to their footprint, their pollution footprint on the planet. And these are people that maybe were aware before but weren't really taking steps. And I see these people beginning to take steps, becoming more conscious, and not only becoming more conscious, but becoming more open to actually being a part of the healing process. There's more acceptance here, moving into the human population. There seems to be more of an acceptance here because the energies have moved out enough of what the planet was carrying. I want to just check on the particles. Yeah, there was a huge amount of work done on the particles, and they just seem so clean. It's like I'm getting a twinkling, when something is really clean, it gets really shiny sometimes. That's what I feel like. Symbolically, the particles have gotten so much cleaner, and I don't know that we got every particle, but we got a lot, and so I'm seeing this twinkling, this shiny quality of the particles all over the planet, not just in the areas that we were specific, very large areas of pollution. Okay. I want to see if I can get any information from the planet itself. So I'm just asking it if it, how it feels, how it's going. And, again, I don't know why, but I do hear it saying something, and it's saying that after the previous healing, it really has felt a lot better, that there's been some great burdens lifted off it, and it appreciates the work that we did. And the pollution thing, the sense I'm getting is exactly, if it had a choice and could send me an email, that's what it would have requested. I mean, I think that's just too funny. So I'm anthropomorphizing. I'm sorry, but I can't help it. Because I'm feel and getting this information. I don't know how to say it other than the way I'm saying it. I don't know the planet's language, so I'm translating, I guess, with the help of the higher self. So, okay, let's see what else. It's requesting that before I do another healing on the planet, which it's very excited that we are doing these continual healings, that I tune into it and see if because it will tell me, it will give me, just like one of the listeners gives me through the email, it will give me the next thing for me to work on. And I'm like, okay, great, that sounds great, I will do it. The planet feels like it can breathe in a way that it hadn't been able to breathe before, and it feels more vitality. I feel like this sort of a pulsing kind of thing, which is just symbolic that its heartbeat is a little stronger, its breath is a little stronger, its circulation is a little stronger. So it feels really good. Okay. Wow. The higher selves are encasing the whole planet in a cocoon, and they're closing down the Forever Now moment because I think we have come to the end of the 2 healings. And I hope we did something. I know we did something. I just feel really good about it. I know I wouldn't be impressed over and over again on my own. I'm having listeners say, oh, the planet, please keep going on them. It keeps coming that these are good and important and significant, and so I'm just going to keep doing it. Now, again, if anybody wants to email me, it's janet@janetrichmond.com. Email me a suggestion, a comment, a request, anything. Feedback. The feedback is great because it really helps the listeners learn how things can process, how things affect the life pattern. When the person who's had the healing responds and say, wow, this X, Y, or Z is shifting. This is what's happening to me. So it's really helpful. It's helpful for everybody. So I, again, encourage people to do, and I know people's lives are busy. Oh, my gosh. I totally get that. So there's no reason to berate or be upset with yourself if you don't write me. There's no reason. But if you think of it and get a chance, that would be great. So I think what I'm going to do is just say thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Thank you to Suzanne for the great idea, and I hope that it will help you. I truly hope that you get some really great shifts. And I also want to thank Jerry for bringing to my attention that we as humans can get help even as we do the planetary healing. And it's different types of things. We don't normally look at ourselves and say, oh, we're so polluted, let's work on our pollution. But in a way, we are. So it's absolutely great that we can do both at the same time, both the planet and the personal healing. And with that, guys, thank you. I will be back next week. So exciting. And have a wonderful week.